Hello, welcome back to the Aerois recaps. Bam. Hope you are ready for chapter 6. We left off on a bit of a will things get better? Who knows? I know. Not all of you know. And that's the power I have. Yes! I have the upper foot. Upper hand. Christ. Anyway, let's get rockin' and rollin' with chapter 6, shall we? Here we gizzity go. The party, after newly arriving in Gust Haven, walk through the beautiful city streets of the floating sky city. Quill's body safe on Ayla's back. After a short walk past city guards, quiet shops and quaint family homes, the group quietly gather at the smouldering remains of what was once Lucius's family home. The normally chirpy, happy-go-lucky high elf, now utterly devastated, distraught, and heartbroken. After a quiet moment of sadness, the party make their way to the resplendent Star Sorrow Cathedral to inquire with the priestess there about reviving Quill. One of the priestesses there is happy to assist and quietly takes Quill's body away for healing, telling the party that she'll require funding and an Ethereum rod to help her perform Quill's resurrection spell. Ethereum being an incredibly powerful energy source that Gust Haven is famous for producing. So the party make their way to the Gust Haven Palace to inquire about the material costs needed for the spell. It's there they meet Prince Aradan, a young high elf prince with strikingly long dark hair and very kind features, who sympathises greatly with Lucius, and Aradan is happy to help the party however he can. At the palace, Lucius is given a letter containing his family's will, and Lucius is bequeathed with a vast sum of wealth. With this sudden influx of money, Lucius is able to pay for the healing spell, and the party are also able to purchase the Ethereum rod that's also needed. With the money and the spell components all ready to go, the team head back to the Star Sorrow Cathedral to perform the resurrection ritual. But before they do, they have some questions, and while a priestess is nearby, they perform the Speak with Dead ritual. They firstly ask Quill if he'd like to come back as an Aarakocra, to which he responds, yeah, he would. And then Lucius asks Quill who his best friend is, to which Quill responds, Lucius, of course. It's very sweet. And with that, the party gather around Quill, and together they perform the resurrection spell. The small room within the cathedral is bathed in a golden light. Quill feels a small tug on his chest as the silvery thread that connects him to Aerois begins to pull him back through the astral planes, back down towards Aerois. On his way to the mortal realm, Quill gets to witness Aerois from the astral planes, and he spots the golden sunship of Palador as it sails around Aerois. And before Quill's spirit reaches Aerois, he meets his god Hesper, tall, long-haired, winged man, who gently takes Quill and guides him back, but not before bestowing upon him a few words of wisdom. Hesper tells Quill to ask the right questions, before a silvery light begins to emanate from his previously missing eye. And then Quill wakes up in a small chamber surrounded by his friends, who are extremely excited to see him. Quill removes his eye patch, and where an empty eye socket would have been is the swirling, beautiful silvery light of the Eye of the Storm, a gift from Hesper that allows Quill the ability to see events that happened in the past or in the future, as long as he asks the right questions. With the party reunited, we say goodbye to Piri, but before he teleports away, Nova hands him a letter to send to her parents on Vortensar. Lucius suggests that the party explore Gust Haven a bit and try to find Lucius's old caretaker, Nanny Norfear. They visit her home, but the lights are off and no one appears to be living there, so they cautiously start creeping their way through, when suddenly the group are attacked by a ferocious woman armed with daggers and knives, until she recognises Lucius and stops attacking. Lucius, in a clear state of shock, asks Norfear why she's dressed the way she is. Lucius is used to a fairly elderly seeming, quite mild-mannered woman taking care of him, not this feisty assassin that stands in front of them. Norfear shares her theory about why Lucius's family were targeted. She believes it to be the work of sky pirates called the Wind Barons. Norfear warns Lucius that they might come back to finish the job if word gets out that Lucius is still alive. So the party quickly make their way to the market district to buy Lucius new clothes and to disguise his appearance by cutting off his hair and dyeing it a dark colour. The group return to Norfair to plan their next move, with Lucius looking almost unrecognisable with his short cropped hair and a dark blue outfit instead of his usual purple resplendence. But suddenly a small silver bead travels through one of Norfair's windows and begins to tick. Norfair shouts a warning before the small orb explodes in a giant fireball, tearing its way through Norfair's home. And then a group of assassins enter the home one by one. A terrifying fight breaks out and a newly healed Quill gets his jaw broken by a marksman hiding on a nearby roof. The party are able to fight off most of the assassins, however some do escape, and the City Watch eventually arrive to assist, led by the Captain Valera Denethor. She grills the party for causing a ruckus and making a dangerous situation, but after hearing about Lucius's assassination attempt, the party are then given permission to openly carry their weapons through the city of Gusthaven. Quill is brought back to the Star Sorrow Cathedral for another round of healing, and while there he decides to use his new Eye of the Storm power to find out where the assassins came from. Quill's mind is pulled back through clouds and mist, and then his vision clears, looking down at a masked figure commanding the same group of assassins. In the small room there's a desk with books and papers strewn all over it. With the group now aware of Quill's new power, they ask him to look back and witness the fate of Lucius's father. And once again, after using the eye, Quill sees Lucius's father in his workshop on the bottom floors of the house. A tall, handsome man with very similar features to Lucius, but with a more stern, solemn look on his face. Working hard at his desk, he stands from his chair to leave, but in doing so, sets off a similar trap to the one used in Nanny Norfair's home. Quill tells Lucius what he saw, and the party quickly return back to Lucius's home to learn more. But while there, the grief and the anger that Lucius feels is too much. The party try their best to comfort him, when suddenly a masked figure swoops down towards the group. In a deep, modulated sounding voice, the masked figure proclaims that the High Elf with the party is not the real Lucius. They tell the party to get out of Gusthaven before disappearing into the night. The party head back to the palace to rest in the many quarters there for their own safety. And the next day, Lucius uses his newly inherited fortune to commission a skyship. The party also hire a crew to accompany them, the bulk of the crew being made up of a pack of wolf-like beast walkers. Humanoid in shape, but with mammalian features like pointy, fluffy ears, turned up prominent noses, fangs and claws. While Lucius is busy putting plans into place, the rest of the party head over to the Imperial Archives, a grand library in the city's palace. Nova is keen to research the Eterna, to find out more about Tiangong's origins, and she asks to meet Dean Alessandra. Dean Alessandra has been cursed by vampirism. This only piques Nova's curiosity even more, and Nova is led through a dimly lit corridor, and in a dark, low-lit room, the pair meet. And over a glass of blood, Dean Alessandra is keen to share her knowledge of Eterna with Nova, after learning about the power that Nova carries. Alessandra shows Nova her own otherworldly companion, Helios, a resplendent golden leonine man who can transform into a golden fur cape of protection. Alessandra is keen to find a companion for Helios besides her, one that can travel and see the world and isn't confined to a small concrete room with barely any light. Nova suggests that Helios come with her in the party, but Helios doesn't entirely trust Nova and her true intentions with Tiangong. Nova heads off, for now, to reunite with the party. The group have a few weeks in Gusthaven before their airship is ready to set sail, so they decide once again to meet with Prince Aradan and Elois to discuss recent events and what they think might have happened in Gusthaven. They discover clues about Lucius's falsely reported death, and learn that a squire has gone missing from the Chains district, a slum that hangs underneath the floating sky city on a series of strong chains. Quill uses his Eye of the Storm power once more to find out more specific information about the room that the assassins were sent from. This time the vision seems more clear, as Quill witnesses the same scene but taking place within a library. The party is shown into the palace library by Elois, to see if it matches the same one in Quill's vision. Elois leaves the group alone, and Nova discovers a small sliver of light seeping through a secret door. Ayla uses her strength to pry the door open, and the party hesitantly make their way inside, stepping down a stone staircase into a small chamber below the floor of the palace. Quill recognises this room from his visions, seeing the books on shelves, the small table with paper and reading material scattered all over it. Lucius tentatively goes ahead and discovers torn up papers describing Wind Baron plans, and a final letter expressing outrage towards Aerois for failing to kill Lucius and his companions. Aerois catches the group, waking a sleeping golem to come out to his defense, and attacks the party. The group manage to subdue him and knock him unconscious, but their strength soon overwhelms him and he perishes trying to flee. The golem is destroyed and the party once again find themselves alone, but this time with a wealth of terrible and damning information. So that's the main story for this chapter all wrapped up for now, but what I'm going to do is take you over to PAX West 2019, where Tom, Katie and Mark did a live session with Nate Sharp and Erin M. Evans, and the events that took place in that stream are canon. So I'm going to quickly rattle on through this live session, and then we'll wrap up Chapter 6. Quill and Ayla are suddenly transported to another plane of existence. They land on a great silver ship sailing through the stars. There are two strangers with them, a strong and imposing looking tiefling warrior called Halavar and a charismatic bard called Poltlin Sepper. Quill notices that all four of them have a silvery cord attached to their backs, and after a brief and strange introduction, the party soon realise they are travelling on the back of a giant spider. And speaking of giant spiders, one pops up through a hatch in the deck to introduce itself. Garson is extremely polite and well-mannered. Halavar tries to summon her hellhound companion to defend her, but is unable to do so, and the group soon learn that they're travelling through the astral plane. Garson leads the group through a grand ballroom and up a flight of stairs into a large bedroom, where they meet a creature who has the lower half of a spider and the upper half of a beautiful woman. Lady Duskwillow introduces herself and tells the party she summoned them to her to help her organise a party. She tells the group that she has invited leaders from all over the multiverse and that she wants to greatly earn the trust of her guests. She gives the party 3 tasks to complete before they can return to their home planes. The first task is to stop the Githyanki and the Githzerai ambassadors from killing each other. The second task is to find out what Jasimir, ruler of the Third Hell, is up to. And the third task is to find out the deepest desire of an archangel called Aramanthia, so that Lady Duskwillow can gain favour with her. The Spider Woman gives the group free rein of the ship to come up with a plan, but Lady Duskwillow warns that if they fail to complete the 3 tasks, she will inflict a terrible curse upon the group. Poltlin goes to get gussied up, excitedly claiming dibs on the Archangel. The rest of the group make their way to the ship's laboratory. Quill makes a love potion, hoping it will help reacquaint the 2 Gith ambassadors. The 4 reunite and the party gets underway. As the group are chatting and awkwardly attempting to mingle with the party guests, Jasimir makes himself known to the group, intimidating them with his rugged, handsome charm. The party finalise their plan and Poltlin goes over to the bar to introduce himself to Aramanthia. He aces a persuasion check and gets the Archangel to stay for conversation. Quill returns to Jasimir, trying to make friends with him to get information, but Quill ends up becoming his desperate drink servant instead. Halavar and Ayla decide to split the love potion between 2 glasses and share them between the 2 Gith leaders. Halavar meets the Githzerai officer, offering him the glass of wine. The ambassador informs Halavar that he can't drink, but thanks her for the kind gesture anyway. Ayla meets the Githyanki ambassador. Their mutual appreciation of a good fight makes conversation surprisingly smooth. Poltlin is getting drunk at the bar of Aramanthia, and things start getting a little bit saucy between them both. While this is going on, a cunning Jasimir starts to get a read on Quill. He asks Quill to go find out what the Githyanki are up to, and in return he'll give Quill what he wants. The party regroup and make their way over to the Gith duo, convincing them to drink their love potion spiked drinks. Suddenly 4 large tentacles pierce through the roof of the ship. The immortals slump down paralysed, as a mind flayer pirate and his group of Durgar abseil down into the room. Poltlin tries to deceive the mind flayer, in a desperate attempt to save Lady Duskwillow from getting her brain harvested. Xerix, a mind flayer, begins to attack Poltlin, and the group begin fighting. In the middle of the fight, Quill uses his Storm Eye to ask Hesper what Jasimir is up to. He finds out that Jasimir is working with a powerful devil in Avernus to find out what Zariel is up to in Baldur's Gate. The party of strangers band together and defeat Xerix, successfully breaking the sleeping spell, and after completing their tasks, a very satisfied Lady Duskwillow sends sends the ragtag group back to their respective home planes. Ayla and Quill are both pulled back to Aerois. They feel a cold, metallic object in their hands. A silver coin with webs and spiders engraved into it. The coin holds incredible magic power. Should Ayla or Quill wish for something, the coin will grant it, but it can only be used once. And that's chapter 6 all wrapped up. The Elenasto fiasco is well underway, so join me again for chapter 7, where we get to the meat and bones of this grisly situation, and we find out what happens when Elois's body is discovered. Ooh. So stay tuned for more rip-roaring action in Aerois. It's all kicking off. Not that it ever was not kicking off. I believe it's just been kicking off the whole time. Anyway, I will see you soon for chapter 7. Take care, be good, stay safe, and I'll see you again soon. Goodbye!